fuck what you heard, better act like you know. It's the Premium Pete Show.
Internets, welcome back to another episode of the Premium Pete Show. Man, I am so excited. Kane, let me tell you something, okay? You already know what it is, my brother, okay? I am so excited to be sitting down here to do an episode with not only one of Brooklyn's finest, okay? Not only one of the greatest MCs of our time, okay? But more importantly, not only one of the greatest chefs of our time, okay? You understand, internets? If you don't know, Kane is one hell of a cook, okay? Okay, you understand? I don't think you know. And, of course, 33, is it 33 years of Long Live the Kane?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, something like, yeah.
Internets.
Yeah, 33 years, yeah.
The one and only Big Daddy Kane. Welcome to the Premium Pete Show, my brother.
Glad to be here, man.
Listen, Kane, I love that you're wearing this shirt. We're going to take him back, and then we're going to bring him here, and then we're going to tell him about this amazing scripted podcast that you're working on that is going to be coming out soon. Shouts to MC Search. Shouts to your whole team. I love it, man. I got a chance to listen to it. I thought it was incredible. I actually may, you know what I'll do? I'll play a little snippet. I'll ask Search, but maybe I'll play a little snippet in this when this episode drops, just to let the people know what they're up against. You know what I mean?
I reached over to grab the mic. He knocked my hand away and said, "Nah, sure, you can't use my mic to battle me."
No doubt.
So listen, when we talk about Big Daddy Kane, and we talk about somebody who grew up in Brooklyn, for those that don't know, listen, Kane, some people may not know your journey. Some people will, and they'll learn a little bit more. But when I want to take it back for 1 second. You grew up in Brooklyn, right? Where'd you grow up in Brooklyn?
Bed-Stuy.
You know, at that time, have you ever had a chance to come back to Brooklyn and look at how different it is from the time you grew up to now, Kane?
Absolutely. Yeah. I saw a major change. I was out there filming, I believe, last year. And yeah, it's like, I mean, on my old block, I was filming. And like, yeah, it's a lot of old, like, there's like a little coffee shops and stuff like that. It's a lot different. A whole lot.
They got avocado toast. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
Things just change. You know, you think about a young Big Daddy Kane in Brooklyn. What did you even have in mind to do at a teenager's age? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, as a teenager, you know, hip hop was something that was new and fresh. And, you know, it was just getting introduced to the radio and, you know, things of that nature. And, you know, the block parties, you know, seeing that stuff, you know, it was something new. So it was definitely was something that fascinated me, you know.
You know, a lot of people back then said that hip hop was a fad, you know. They felt like it was something that maybe would have expired. Listen, hip hop is living as long as almost Kane has lived. It's crazy to see
about rock and roll, you know.
Yeah. I mean, Kane, I'll be honest with you. I mention you all the time when I talk about hip hop, and I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of people, I speak about my daughter. My daughter's gonna be 21. All her favorite artists, they're dying quickly. Like meaning, like every one of her artists that she liked either overdosed, got shot, got killed. I tell them, I said, people I grew up loving and listening to, like Big Daddy, I'm watching them have gray goatees. You know what I mean? Like I'm watching them get older, and I value that, right? Because, you know, hip hop, like, you know, they try to say sometimes it's a young man's game, but it should be a game for everybody that contributes. And you know, you think about all that you contributed over these years, Kane. I mean, honestly, from a kid from Brooklyn, you ever look back and say to yourself, like, man, what a journey. I mean, there's still a lot to go, but from a kid from Brooklyn to where you have gone today, it's crazy when we think about it.
No, I mean, it's been an interesting, exciting journey, you know, and an educational journey as well, you know. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot, done a lot, made mistakes, created some beautiful music and beautiful situations, man, you know. But yeah.
You know, when we think about 33 years of Long Live the Kane, you know, I remember actually buying that shit on cassette. You know, you think about even the cover. Like, who shot that cover? Like, who thought about to make that cover?
That was a gentleman named George Dubose. He's a great photographer. He did several album covers for me. But I really love and respect the vision he had on Long Live the Kane, because it was just regal and royal, you know.
A lot of it's crazy too, because like a lot of people may not even realize that. Well, some people who know, but you produce probably, I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, like 90% of Long Live the Kane. So to
Oh
be an
yeah.
MC, right, and then produce, I mean, that's incredible. Except I think who did Raw? What's his name? 45, right? 40
Set it off.
no, set it
45
off.
King set it off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
45 King did set it off. Okay.
Yeah.
So and so there may have been one or two songs you didn't produce on that album.
Set it off. Marley did I'll Take You There. And The Day You're Mine, and
When we
yeah.
think about Marley Marl and how big he's been to your career, first of all, you still speak to Marley?
I talked to Marley like a week ago. I think like a week ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You think about like, when did y'all meet? Like, how did that happen?
Well, the first time I met Marley was actually in Power Play Studio, but he didn't know who I was. He just knew that I was some dude there with Biz Markie, because I wasn't introduced as an MC or anything. It's just introduced as Biz friend. I didn't really meet Marley until the day that Biz was supposed to record Nobody Beats the Biz. Because I took the train to Marley house to meet him there with the lyrics, but Biz didn't show up. And, me and Marley began talking, and, I told him, what I was there for. And, he, I mean, it was a funny situation, because, he was talking to me with the chain on the door. He didn't want to let me in.
That's hysterical.
Trying to explain to him, I took the train all the way from Brooklyn to Queens. And he like, Biz ain't here. I don't know what to tell you, money. Then I just gave him the lyrics. I was like, all right, well, when he show up, these are the lyrics he's supposed to be doing today. And then he said, you be writing for Biz? I was like, I wrote that. He asked me, how did it go? Then he asked me, do I rhyme? He said, let me hear something. And I spit a verse for him. Then he said, yo, you want to come in and record something? He invited me in and we started working.
Man, just like that. Like, it's crazy too, because like, he could have closed the door and who knows, Kane, maybe we ain't sitting here,
Yeah, anything could happen.
But when you think about Biz too, I know that you wrote a lot of songs from, but Biz is also I feel like Biz got comfortable that somebody as good as you was writing, because Biz can write too, right? Like
Absolutely.
But yeah, but when you think about some of the, like, I remember you telling a story a while ago about Biz and picking boogers and how to like when he comes up with these names or things like this, and you were able to like, did you make sure you had that funny writing for him? Because he's like, picking boogers. We say, I go up in there, catch a winner, like.
Yeah, well, to go up your nose and pickle, that was Biz's line. Like, that was pretty much the only thing he gave me. I was like, what do you mean picking boogers? And he's like, just tell some stories about me picking boogers. He said, but whatever you do, just somewhere in there, just put, hey, mom, what's for dinner? Go up your nose and pick a winner. I'm like, yeah, I did. It's no doubt.
First of all, how is Biz? Have you spoke to him? I know he's dealing with some health issues. Do you know if he's okay or?
I spoke to Biz. I want to say it may have been a month ago, probably like a month and a half ago. Last time that I spoke to him, but he's doing a lot better.
Okay. Prayers up for Biz Markie. Internets, make sure you put some prayers up for Biz Markie and his family. Even when you think, who produced? Did you write Nobody Beats the Biz?
Yeah, like a lot of it. I mean, it's once again, that's Biz. All that's Biz. That's not my concept. That's Biz, like saying, I want to make a song.
Nobody Beats the Biz. Yep.
Yeah, I want to make a song called Nobody Beats the Biz, and I want to use the Nobody Beats the Whiz slogan, but I want the style to be like a zuka 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 zuka. Like, this is what he's telling me, so he had it all planned in his mind, it's just a matter of, executing,
Yeah, Biz is definitely a character. You know, there's so many different people in hip hop, right? You know what I mean? You'll have your serious MCs, you'll have your characters, you'll like his personality is fun, man. So I'm glad you know, it's funny how his life helped create a lot of yours, right? You know what I mean? Like
Oh
just
no,
the,
I
just
would
the
have never known
partnership.
how to write
Yep.
songs if it wasn't for Biz. You know, because I mean, I was just a battle rapper. You know, I would have never knew how to really structure a song if it wasn't for Biz.
You know, when you think about when I mentioned a teenager in Brooklyn, you know, you go to Molly's, you're writing with Biz, but before that, did you have any regular job? Like, did you have like that you worked?
Yeah, my last job, I was delivering fruits and vegetables to like the fruit stands. Like
Mm.
I get on a truck with another cat like 4 in the morning, and we ride up to Hunts Point Market and get crates of fruits and vegetables, load them on the truck, then come back to Brooklyn and drop them off at like 3 different fruit stand locations. And then from there, just grab my book bag out the back seat, head to school.
Mm, mm. Now I know your pops was a big inspiration for you. You know, just in general of how fly he was, how he used to dress. More
Absolutely.
important, I remember you telling me like you used to drink a lot of, you know, like you drink and kick it with him. You know what I mean? Like just a real. You know, I know he was you know, somebody that you considered to be very special. When you think about your kids, right? You know, and I see, you know, do you do you parent different, or because y'all had such a good relationship, you just you use a lot of that pops did with you? Because I'll be honest with you, I love my pops, but he was raised by a pops that wasn't from here, drank a lot, like you know what I mean, didn't have that type of love feeling. Like you know, a lot of these fathers, when you keep on going generations down, didn't really say "I love you" or "How you feeling today," or the way you are with your little one and I'm with my little one, where it's like you know we're more lovable, we're more around. Like I take him to swim school. Back then, when I had my daughter, I remember people being like, "Why are you here?" And like a guy like picking them up or being at the gymnastic class, it was like kind of like not normal. So I love that we as men are really in our kids' life and that presence. You know, that presence, instead of presents buying them, we giving them like ourselves. So, you know, explain that relationship with your father. Let the internet know how important that was to you, but more importantly, how have that helped you as being a parent?
I mean, my my pops ain't he's not the type to sit and tell me that he loved me either. That's not his style. You know, I mean, he's really from the South. You know, I mean, you know, Southern country boy, man. You know, at heart. So that's not his style at all. You know, so I didn't get that at home. You know, me and him got like super duper cool once I was, you know, like grown really. You know, he just was like he just was like, you know, just a fly dude that I really looked up to. You know, and most importantly, he hung in there. He stayed there with my mother. You know, they was together until my mom's passed. You know,
They made it
so
work. They made it work.
yeah. So I mean, you know, I have nothing but love and respect for my father. But nah, he not the type to give me no hug and say I love you, son.
Yeah.
That shit ain't happening. Not even today.
Isn't it
You
crazy
know,
how you are with your kid versus
I
when you
mean,
think back?
well, you know, I tell my kids that I love them. You know, I mean, you know, I just I just think differently. You know, I think differently. I mean, I think that I have I discipline them the same way
Yep.
that my father disciplined me. But I mean, you know, I want them to feel, you know, I want them to really feel the love. You know,
Mm.
you know, I don't think that like all the tough love is necessary 24/7. You know, I mean, sometimes
Yeah.
they have to know that they achieved something. You know, that they did good, that you're proud of them. You know.
That's that must have been special too for you to have a career. Because as a young kid, right? You sometimes we don't know what we want to do, and then you have an amazing career, and I'm sure that has been able to help you kind of provide a life for the kids, like give them what you really didn't have. Like that had
Absolutely.
to be special. Take them on trips, right? You know what I mean? Especially when you're an entertainer. Think about it. Okay, I'm sure you took your kids to London or wherever, you know what I mean? Like to perform or wherever you're performing. You know, how special has that been to like involve your kids in your life, right? And at the end of the day, the crazy thing is funny though. You know, like you could be Big Daddy Kane's, but to your kids, like you're your dad. You know what I mean? Like it's like I try to tell people this. It don't matter who you are or how big you are. To your kids, they're gonna be like, that's just dad. My daughter doesn't think like she's like, he's getting old, he this. But the friends are like, damn, your father got all these sneakers, he's this, he's that. You know, like they look at you like as something different, you know. How have the kids looked at your career? You know what I mean? And all the things you've done.
I mean, he acknowledges it, but yeah, absolutely. He sees me as dad, you know, or in his words, dad. You know, he don't really pronounce that last D. But I mean, you know, that's the way he looks at me. But I mean, I really, in his mind, I think that he's like, you know, it's my turn now.
Yeah.
He ready to step out and shine. You know? Yeah.
You know, what did mom do growing up?
My mother, she was a registered nurse.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
And what was Pops doing?
Truck driver. My pops was a truck driver.
Nice. But let me ask you, where did he get? Because that's one thing I love about you, Kane, is, you know, a lot of Brooklyn dudes, we all have different styles. But you have like really crushed the 2-3-piece suit, the fedora, you know what I mean? The vest, right? The just suited and booted, right? Just like some real gentleman shit, right? You know, Pops as a truck driver, I remember you saying telling me one time, like this dude used to have double-breasted 5 vest like suits. Like, where was he going that he was rocking this? You know what I mean? Like he was just going out, like hanging out with friends, or that's just how he rolled when he was off of work?
I mean, yeah, he get off work, get dressed, and like him and his boys, like there was like Brooklyn hangout spots, like the Transit Hall, Brown Sugar, Sugar Hill. You know, there was like, you know, yeah, spots they used to go to. You know, him and his boys, they go hang out all suited and booted, and, you know, come back in drunk as hell, singing Al Green songs. You know, 4 o'clock in the morning when he coming through the door, you know, stuff like that. You know, yeah.
When you told your pops that you wanted to be a rapper, an MC, what the fuck did he say to you?
You know, my pops, you know, he's more or less the type that's like, do what you gotta do. Just don't fuck with my Heineken in the refrigerator. You know, that's, you know, he's more or less that type, you know.
Well, you did some things and you didn't mess with the Heineken. You know, even when you think about your career, Kane, and how long are we talking? 33 years is long live the Kane, you know? Are we saying 33 years in the game? But a little bit more.
I mean, you know, Raw came out 36. A year before.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, you know, like times on the road with Biz and DJing for Shantae, you know. So.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. That's right. So, yeah, so there's a lot of work put in. But when you think, when did you personally feel like you were an artist, right? Right, that you arrived, right? That you were good enough to take this shit to the next level, or more importantly, that you were good enough to be respected by your peers. Like, when do you remember, like, when you feel like you arrived? Like, you know what I mean? Like that it was really real, like that you were able to like provide, and like I'm sure, you know, like with Pops, do you have any, like, were you able to buy them anything that you know what I mean, or buy something for yourself that you were really like, wow?
Well, I mean, you know, stuff like that, you know, don't really mean nothing, you know. You know, 'cause I mean, you know, you don't have to be an artist. You can be a drug dealer to do that.
Sure.
You know.
Sure.
I think like when I was in the studio with Patti LaBelle, recording Feels Like Another One, and she actually cooked food for me that she brought to the studio, and you know, pulling hot sauce out her purse, you know, asking did I want to put some on the greens, and I'm like, yo, this is Patti LaBelle. She just
Patti motherfucking LaBelle.
You know,
that's crazy.
I was just like, yeah, like that was one of those moments where I felt like, yo, you are really here. Like, you are really here. That'd be one of those.
You know, I mean, listen, it's always special to have those type of moments. You know, also when you think about Long Live the Kane, when you put that out, do you remember the day that they put that shit out? And do you remember like the first time you heard like on the radio, or like, you know, do you remember that day?
I remember the first time I heard Just Rhyming with Biz on the radio. I remember the first time hearing that. Yeah, we was over at my boy Body Crib, and it was me and my man Mad Money Murph, and Mr. Magic played on the radio, and we was like, "Yo, that's my joint. That's my." They was like, "Oh," and then we just we listened to it, and like they just like my boys are just screaming. Then after it went off, we just ran back to the corner store, bought like more 40 ounces, came back, sat on the steps, just talking like, "Yo, man, it's about to happen, kid. It's about to go down. Yeah, I knew you was gonna make it." But these is cats that I went to high school with, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, when you think about, you know what's crazy when you think about the influence that you had on Jay-Z, and then you think about like how much influence, like, you know, when you started rapping fast on what song was that? But you mentioned before that like you took a like you liked the little fast thing. But then I said to myself, yo, isn't Jay or you like only 1 year older than each other? It's crazy of how much influence you had on him when y'all not that far apart from age.
Well, I mean, you know, I had been in the game a little longer. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think that's what it was more about. You know, about the seasoning as opposed to how old you are.
You think about, but what about when he mentioned, 3 cuts in the eyebrow? I think I told you this story, but well, first off, when you heard that, did you know that was coming? That he was giving you a shout, Jay?
No, I honestly didn't. I had no idea. I can't remember. Somebody told me, "Yo, Jay mentioned you in his new song," and then I heard it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's what's up. That's dope. That's dope."
Have you seen him since then?
Since then, yeah, I've seen Jay since then.
It's crazy too because I don't think you understand. Well, I think you do, but I don't think like how crazy this could be. And I think I told you this story, but 3 cuts in your eye trying to wild out, and you think about just even how you had that. I remember being a young kid, about 15 years old, and we had moved over. I grew up in Coney Island, and then we moved to Bensonhurst. Crazy times, like meaning like it was 1990. It was wild. And I went into my barber, and I was like, "Yo, do me a favor, put 3 cuts in my eyebrow." And he said, "What are you trying to be, black?" And I said, "Nah, I'm trying to be like Kane." Dead ass. I told you this a while ago, but the crazy thing is when you think about how the style really transcended to people, really, kind of like became like this superhero, right? You think about it, like it's like almost like it's just crazy of how all these years that you put in, like this is a marathon, Kane. Nobody ever thought it'll be this, you'll have this much body of work, this much time, hip hop, like we were saying, like I remember Ralph McDaniel was telling me that they were telling him, this is gonna end soon. It's probably a fad. And then to where we are today, I said to myself, man, it's like the influence you had on artists, the influence you had on people. You know what I mean? And it's a powerful thing. And I'm sure you get it wherever you go, right? I'm sure people give you your roses. Would you say that people give you your roses?
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of love from the people, man, and I deeply appreciate it. Absolutely.
I mean, it's what you have put out there too, Kane, though, to be honest. Like, you put a lot of love out there, right? You know what I mean? Like, you're not a dude into drama. You know what I mean? You're a straight MC, spitting. You know what I mean? Like, you don't bother anybody. You cook, you spit, and you go about your business with your family. It's like somebody like that.
Yeah.
You can never deny that. I do want to say, when we think about Long Live the Kane, and then we keep on going down, you think about the time that you met Biz. And you met Biz in like Fulton Street, right? In the Albee Square Mall?
Yeah, in Albee Square Mall.
The first time you meet him, what did you think of Biz?
I thought that Biz had an amazing sense of humor, and I loved his flow. He had this real lazy flow, and he was saying a lot of funny rhymes. So I thought he was dope. I enjoyed him. I was like, he got a different style. Something I'm not used to, because I'm used to,
Yeah.
I'm used to battle rapping. So I thought he had a unique style.
Especially for somebody who raps so well, and I know you've said this before. Sometimes when you're so hard as a rapper, I remember you saying that you were spitting like crazy, and the crowd was like kind of like just standing there, and that's why you had to learn to dance and move and have the entourage you have, and then have the dances you have.
Oh, nah. What happened was, Biz used to like for me to say these funny rhymes on stage. This is before we even made records. We didn't have, neither one of us had a deal at that time. And Biz liked for me to say these funny rhymes on stage, and I was cool with it until this one particular night. We was opening up for Doug and Rick, and I'm like, that's what Slick Rick is known for. He's known for the funny rhymes about girls. I'm like, I look like I'm biting if I do that on stage. I don't want to do that tonight. I'd rather just rhyme. And Biz was telling me, trust me, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. And I said, okay, but I knew I wasn't gonna listen. So when he started beatboxing, I just started spitting real rhymes, like real like battle type rhymes. I started spitting, and people started just walking around, just walking away, like paying us no attention. Biz was hot, he was furious. But I learned that, okay, you need to listen to dude. You know what I'm saying? He's more seasoned than you. He understands how the crowd is, So, from that point on, I never really disputed Biz again.
You also hung around with a lot of dudes, especially ones that you really shouldn't mess with. Not meaning you, meaning the internets or people in person, which was, Horse, Dog, and I think, did Pig pass?
Yeah.
Rest in peace to Pig. Do you still speak to a Horse or a Dog?
You mean Hawk? Hawk, you mean? I saw Hawk, I don't know, maybe about 3 years ago or something like that. 3-4 years ago. I've seen Hawk. Dog I haven't seen since the early 2000s. Dog at one point was doing security at the Ark, in Brooklyn. But Hawk I seen, like, I want to say a good 3-4 years ago. But
now what made you like kind of bring them on to the mix? Like what made you what triggered like a light bulb in you to do that,
Well, these is brothers that I see every day in the Ivy Square Mall. I be in the mall and I be around these cats on the regular, man. So I see them. So I mean, now I'm doing something. I wanted to show them a different lifestyle. It was this type of thing where it's like, I want to, so you get a chance to see on the road, just being out of the hood, away from the hood, doing something different. You know what I'm saying? Something, that's not the norm, exposing to something different. That's all.
Yeah, that's a powerful thing. I think, when we think about that, particularly in hip hop, it's a powerful thing. I remember Riz is saying that he had an uncle that his family used to send him down in Florida, but it just got him out of the hood. It gave him a different mindset. You know what I mean? It opened his mind to different things. And, I think about that a lot, Kane, to be honest with you. Even as like a person from Brooklyn, sometimes I value the dudes from the neighborhood, but they never been off the block. You know what I mean? They never really went anywhere, and it's really powerful when you're a kid from the neighborhood and you were able to travel all over. I mean, look, passport. How many passports you been through, Kane?
I don't know, man.
But that's what I'm saying. That shit is crazy.
Yeah, I've been through enough of them though. But it's the type of thing where on the block you can easily get stuck. You can get trapped. That can become your life, and you just become a product of your environment. So therefore, when cats get a chance to see and be exposed to different things, you start to think different. Like, I don't want to be here. I want to do something more. I want to do something else, and that's all you can really hope for.
Yeah. Now, you were part of Rush Management back then?
Yeah, I was part of it.
You were on the roster? How did that happen?
How did that happen? The Public Enemy tour. Bring the Noise tour. Like the order of the show was Eazy-E, Stetson Sonic, EPMD, Big Daddy Kane, Public Enemy. Then somewhere in the middle of the tour, they switched the order. where I was going on before EPMD. And I asked Chuck D about it, and he said that it was Lyor Cohen. He said Lyor Cohen did that. And I was like, who is Lyor Cohen? And he told me who he was. And I was like, okay. So when we had a break for the tour, I went to go find Lyor, but he wasn't in Rush office. He was at a restaurant up the block. And we went to the restaurant. It was me and a couple of my peoples and whatnot. And we surrounded his table. And I asked him about it. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is you doing, man? And Lyor said, I mean, you're not Russian, Kane. Because that's what he used to call his artists, Russians.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not Russian, Kane. It's nothing personal. I just have to take care of my artists. I mean, if you was one of my artists, I'd do the same thing to you. I mean, but this is what I do to take care of my artists. I mean, I understand you. You got your people here. You got to do something. Go ahead and do it. And then I just told them, stand down. I said, nah, chill. I'm like, we don't need to fuck him up. I want to be down with Rush. I want to be down with Rush.
And how was Lyor for you? Because, I sat down with Ed Lover a bunch of times. He told me a story one time, Kane, that they were making $500 a week on Yo MTV Raps, him and Dr. Dre. Lyor came, they make $250,000 a year that next week.
Nah, Lyor was dope like that. I mean, he's a businessman.
Yep.
He's a businessman. I mean, and cats like Lyor Cohen, you can have a good relationship with if you understand that you're dealing with a businessman.
Sure. You gotta have that mindset of who you're dealing with.
Yeah. You can't just sit there, that's my dude, man. That's my dude. That's a businessman.
Sure.
He handles business. He make business deals, and he's always thinking ahead. So, I mean, you got that understanding, then, it's never personal. But
that time over there, you would say they done right by you?
Yeah. Lyor did a great job. I mean, a whole lot of stuff that, like what you were just saying about Ed Lover, like stuff where I was getting peanuts for. Yeah, we added another zero or maybe two.
Yeah. There you go. For a long time, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when I hear the story and I think about it, and I know the journey, I always feel like Mr. Magic always acted a little funny towards you. Is that something that you would agree with, or?
Nah, Magic. Magic was real.
Do you understand why I'm saying that? I feel like that displayed at that time. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Nah, it happened at one particular point. But before the whole Shan and KRS thing, Magic was mad cool with me. I mean, I remember when we did the Juice Crew tour overseas, me and Magic was together damn near every night.
Wow.
Damn near every night, it would be me and Magic drunk as shit, man. I mean, me and Magic was real cool. It was when I wouldn't get involved with the Shan and KRS thing, then Magic, he got upset and called me the Benedict Arnold of the Juice Crew.
Rest in peace, Mr. Magic.
Yeah, man.
Motherfucker said the Benedict Arnold.
Yeah.
When you think about Shan recently, I seen that you put a post up, and he's wild sometimes on Instagram. I like he's making a bus, he's doing this, but I seen you put something up, and you were telling people to follow him, or you don't know what it, but you were a real gentleman about it, like you are. You know how to be a gentleman. That's what that's another thing that I admire about you. You're not a Brooklyn dude that needs to get all tough with someone. What the fuck is up? You know what I mean? Like you you do it very subtle. You know what I mean? I feel like you were the bigger man in that. Like, have you been able to talk to this guy and kind of like, because we too old for anybody to beef. You know what I mean? And I don't mean beef like if people are fighting, but meaning like, I guess some relationships will never be, you know, handled. But do you know what I'm talking about? When a couple months ago,
I know exactly what you're talking
and you got
about.
a mad followers too. That was funny because you got a mad. He said, "Thank you, Kane, for the followers." I was dying when he said that.
Nah, you know, me and Shan, we cool. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. You know, there's like, you know, there's some people that's just, aggressive and like to argue. You know, it's just part of their personality. And, you know, him being one, you know, he do what he do, you know, but it, you know, I mean, I'm not tripping,
Sure.
you know, ain't nothing to, you know, ain't nothing to trip on, you know, but me
You
and
were the
Shan,
big-
cool.
Yeah.
We talk, you know, we don't have no problems.
Yeah. I mean, you came a long way because, you know, I remember hearing when we sat down with Combat, you talking about how he didn't even address you as your name. You know what I mean?
Well, that was, you know, back then when my career first started. But since then, like when we was living on the same block at one point, you know, we just ended up getting cool. And he come up to the crib, we have some drinks. I go over to his crib, you know, he let me hear some new, you know, music he working on. You know, we you know, and we started talking junk to each other, and I started really understanding him more as a person. Like, oh, okay, this dude just like talking shit all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, okay, as you know, and you know, we got mad cool. You know,
Yeah. Peace and blessings to Shan.
I love Shan, man. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Shan.
That's love. I love to hear that, Kane. And the only thing we got to like clear up right now. So I'd seen on the internet the other day, KRS-One trying to call out Big Daddy Kane on a Verzuz. I don't know what we're talking about here. I love KRS. I love him. I love the teacher. Love's Gonna Get You, Kane. One of my favorite fucking songs, man. He said my boy named Rob is chilling in a Benz in front of my building with the rest of his friends. I give him a pound. Ooh, I mean, I shake his hand. He's a neighborhood drug dealer. My man. Yo, this dude, but a Verzuz, there has to be a right person for Kane, right? The body of work has to be a right person. You know, it's confusing to me where people want to call people out. I'm still trying to understand who would be a great. I want to see you do a Verzuz, but I want to see you do a right one where it's somebody that has a great body of work as well. I mean, who is somebody that you would say that you would love to do it with? I mean, I think
I would love
I'm gonna
to
throw
do it with
something out there
KRS.
crazy, but I want to hear what you say.
I mean, I would honestly love to do it with KRS. You know, I mean, KRS, you know, has a body of work. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like his first 3 or 4 albums was like strong. You know, so I mean, he has a body of work. And then plus, you know, like, because I mean, I talked to KRS about this. You know, I told him I think we should do it. And I told him I think we should do it different than what everyone else is doing. I was like, I think we should maybe go like, because I don't know whether they'd be doing 15 or 20 something. I was like, you know, maybe we should
20,
go like
20.
20. Okay. Yeah. Maybe like go, you know, 10 songs or 12 songs, whatever, you know, a piece, you know. But then let's also spit verses at each other. Let's really battle.
Nah, that's
you know,
real dope.
You know, just battle, like go like 3 rounds of just battle rhymes. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we can even incorporate, you know, like us having b-boys and our breakers dance. And then he said, "Well, what about the DJs? We can have the DJs." I'm like, "Yeah, you know."
A
So
little battle. Yeah, I like that.
yeah. So we
Now, did you speak to Swiss?
Huh?
Did you speak to Swiss about it?
Yeah, I talked to Swiss. But I think at that time, I think Swiss really thought that there still was some life in making me and Rakim happen, you know? So I think he was hanging on, hoping that, you know, he could, you know, get that to happen and, get Ra's side to agree, you know?
Ra wasn't into it?
I don't know what's going on their side. That's something you'd have to
that wouldn't be bad though. That wouldn't be bad, Kane. I would like to see it. I mean, there's hits upon hits. It's just too. At the end of the day, I'll be honest with you. I'm only saying this because of my love for any artist that is going to step into that arena. It's a Verzuz, but at the end of the day, it's a celebration of the contributions that you guys have put together, man. So I'm excited to see whoever it is with you. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, it would, it would be fun, man. It would be fun. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. So hopefully we can make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I like to see it. You Kane, a lot of people, we're going to get into some cooking. We're going to get into the scripted podcast real quick as we wind this down. I do want to say, you love to drink, right? And some people in this day and age, like a lot of artists, a lot of MCs, they love to smoke weed. Now, back then they smoked too, right? But the point I'm trying to make is some people get creative in the studio. You ever wrote a song off of a nice glass of scotch? Like you ever like remember like, or it's hard to drink and write,
There's a song I did called 340s and a Bottle of Moet. Like, that's the name of the song. Yeah, that was yeah, that was one of my drunk moments.
Hey, listen, I'm sure there were some good ones, when we think about Grandmaster Caz, and for people who may not know who Grandmaster Caz is, I want you to go look him up so you understand. It's okay, if you're young, you don't feel embarrassed. Learn. There ain't nothing wrong with not knowing. Just learn. But when we think about Kane, when we think about Grandmaster Caz and the influence he had on you, I mean, do you remember the first time meeting Caz? And
yeah, I believe the first time I met Caz was through Biz. I believe it was he was with Biz one day, and I met him, and I was just fascinated. Like I could see the whole Bruce Leroy glow around him and whatnot. Like The Last Dragon and whatnot. Like like, oh wow, my idol. Like I can't believe this. I'm not worthy. I was like really really tripping. Because that's someone back in '82 when I first started rhyming that I really really looked up to,
Man, just a true legend.
He's mad cool and down to earth. I thought it was amazing.
And he a fly dude too,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He a fly dude.
Well, that's his name, Casanova Fly.
Yeah. Actually, that's something I didn't ask you. Big Daddy Kane. Was there anything before that you were gonna run with that never ran with?
Chill.
Let me hear, Kane.
Nah. My very first rap name was Tony T.
I like that.
Yeah. Very first rap name.
But Big Daddy Kane is so much stronger.
Yeah.
And how did for people who don't know, how did BDK come up? Like, how did that come up?
It was like the Tony T thing, I think, lasted for maybe a month or so. It was like after I heard Caz rhyme solo. Because, I had heard Cold Crush tapes, but I never really paid attention to the rhyme solo. Yep. Once I heard Caz rhyme solo, I just was like, I want to start over. And I got rid of all the rhymes that I had as Tony T, and just started rewriting everything. And then that's when I started calling myself MC Kane.
Yeah. And then Big Daddy.
Now, every once in a blue moon, I would say Big Daddy Kane, but it was
now.
Really
what did the label? What did the label like Big Daddy Kane? Because the label sometime back then will try to tell you to change your fucking name.
Oh nah. Fly Ty thought it was dope. He thought it was dope. Yeah. I remember him telling me a story one time about someone saying that when they heard Big Daddy Kane, they was expecting to see this big, humongous dude, and then I walked in the room and they was like, where you get this skinny motherfucker? And like Ty just thought that it was dope. Like I guess the surprise element. I remember Ty telling me a story one time.
That's hysterical. You know, you think about your stage presence, and I don't know if you know, what tools you took to work on it. But it's funny. I had a 25-year-old kid that he works with me on a bunch of things. He's from Atlanta. And he told me he's seen you one day in Brooklyn performing. Never seen you before. They said, Big Daddy came out. He said, yo, this dude controlled the crowd, the mic, and it had everybody vibing out. And I was like, man, that's special for a young cat who don't even know who you are. To be like, okay, this dude, like, he sound good. These words are crazy. It feels good. You know what I mean? Like, to catch what you could give as such an incredible MC. I love when young kids are open-minded to artists that are older or artists that, you know, forefathers or artists that came before them. You know, that's special. You ever see these young kids come up to you just learning about you like a year ago?
Yeah. It's funny when they ask questions or when they make comments. You know, I'm like, wow. Like, to hear some of the comments that they make, like when they say stuff like, "Yo, you was saying all them rhymes by yourself, like none of the lyrics was playing on the song, like those was instrumentals." Like, they shocked, you know, that I'm doing that, you know, like, yo, your breath control is crazy. How old are you? You know, stuff like that, you know, like, you know, and it's like, it's like as if like this is something they're not used to saying in hip hop. When, I mean, this is what we all did in the 80s. You know, there was probably only one or two artists that was rhyming over their vocals in the 80s. You know, everybody else had instrumentals.
That's special when you see the young kids do that, man. You know, did you know Biggie back in the day? Did you know him? Did you ever meet him?
I've been around Biggie once. Mr. C had me on the phone with him, I think twice.
What, to meet him or just say hello?
Or? He wanted my advice on something.
Copy.
Yeah, one time it was about a song, and one time it was about some business stuff. He wanted my advice on, and like C would call with him on the line, and we would talk, man. And like his sense of humor was something else, man. Yeah. Like, I remember one time, it was about a song where he was worried that someone was going to bite his style, and they wanted him to record his vocals first. And he didn't want to do it. You know, he felt like, you know, we should record our vocals at the same time. He didn't understand why he had to record his vocals first and then the other person going to do theirs. And he felt like this person, you know, was trying to sound like him. And I'm like, nah, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. And then Big goes, I mean, yo, you already established and shit, my nigga, man. Why ain't you trying to sound like you? Why they fucking with me? I ain't even on yet. I'm sitting there crying, laughing, you know. Yeah. But I mean, you know, my advice to him was like, yo, do you think that you're a better MC than dude? He said, yeah, I'll write your best shit. So that way, no matter what he write, it ain't gonna be equivalent to what you did. Just write your best shit.
That's powerful advice. You know, one thing that C did with you, well, he did a lot of things as far as, you know, being involved with your career and stuff. But the house that C built, I feel like that's one underrated, you know, project right there, man. You know, like C, you know, I like that. I like to go back and forth on that, you know? Like the house that C built, what's that mean to you?
I mean, you know, that was Mr. C's baby. You know, he didn't even want me in the studio that night. He didn't want me giving no ideas or nothing. You know, it was him and I believe Easy Mo B in the studio together, and they put it together.
Easy Mo B.
Yeah, because I think on the first album with Mr. C's master plan, you know, he pretty much assembled all the cuts. But, you know, I'm giving ideas, you know, and I probably was, you know, messing up his vision. So this time around, he was like, nah, look, I got it. I got it. Yeah. So that was his baby, you know? Yeah. And I mean, I thought it came out amazing, you know? He did his thing because it was, you know, it was that house feel, but it still had that hip hop grit to it.
Sure.
You know?
You know, I notice a lot of people, this is a regular question. I hate to ask regular question. I really don't even like to ask questions. We just conversate. But when you think back at your career, I mean, 30 plus years, I mean, just so proud to see. Do you have a memorable moment that you remember that makes you look back and say, you know, be happy or be proud or something? I'm sure there's a lot, but is there one that sticks out to you?
Mm. Um, uh, I, I one that sticks out is the Juice Crew reunion. Like
Mm.
seeing everybody in the daytime and seeing a little tension, a little discomfort, and then by nighttime, we looking like we up at Cold Chillin' Records back in 1987 again.
Man.
You know, it was just everybody was all love and everybody snapping on each other and cracking jokes. I mean, that was like real
Those were
special.
good times. Those were good. Let me ask you, is smiling allowed in hip hop?
I mean, yeah. I mean, when you young, depending on where and how you grew up, that's something that you probably wouldn't do, because you want people to take you serious. You want people to take you serious. Especially like back then, the way people looked at hip hop, the way they perceived it.
Absolutely.
It's like this is a career that you see being your future, and you got someone talking, oh, you doing that hibbity hop stuff. Yeah, all right on me. It's like you want people to take you serious. So like I said, depending on how and where you grew up, a lot of cats didn't really smile because they wanted to be taken serious. And then you had some dudes that just was just real street dudes that just wasn't really playful like that.
Yeah.
But I don't see why not. I mean, Dougie Fresh always smiled. LL smiled a lot. You had cats that smiled a whole lot. Salt and Pepper.
Shouts to Salt and Pepper. How's your relationship with L? Do you find yourself having friends in hip hop later on that maybe you didn't deal with in the beginning? Do you find
me and L always be cool? Yeah. Me and L, like L would be at my house on the regular. Matter of fact, L come over looking to see what I'm cooking that night.
Actually. And this is something a lot of people may not know, or maybe they do know, but Kane could cook, man. Kane could really cook, okay? If we're going to say the King Asiatic, we got to say the chef Asiatic. Listen, what are some dishes that you like to cook, man? What do you, like, let the internet know of how you get down in the kitchen.
I like Nigerian fish stew. Brown stew, red snapper, seafood lasagna.
That's special right there. Seafood lasagna.
Yeah. Like for people that eat cheese, I can make it like exquisite. For me, I'm dairy free, so I use the dairy free cheeses. But I mean, people that eat cheese, I make it like super sexy, But
I like that.
Yes.
Are you doing a TV show or a cooking show? I think I heard that was something that you were thinking about doing or being involved in.
I wanted to revamp that. I mean, I thought that we had a good idea, but I think it should be approached differently. I want it to look fly. I don't want it to look normal.
Absolutely.
I don't want it to look like normal. I want it to look fly and different. So we're trying to revamp that whole concept now.
I like that. And I'll tell you, I still have that food. You got to eat this that I have. So we definitely gonna support you on there. I got to come out to where you at one day. Just maybe even
Anytime,
just see you cook. And tape and bring a camera there or whatever and let the world know about, like, yeah, Kane's the MC, but gets nasty in the kitchen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's, you know what I like to say? I like to see, even if you did like
Hold on.
some.
Before you say that, let me just say this here real quick, because you made me forget my chain of thought. LL, I just wanted to finish with this.
Yeah, my bad.
I got so much love for that brother. Because let me explain something to you. Out of all the years I've known him, we talk back and forth, pop shit towards each other, laugh and joke about this and that. But, I never asked for anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, as big as he doing it right now in Hollywood, I never asked him for anything, But I mean, I did reach out to the brother and say, yo, I need some help connecting with these people about whoop-de-whoop. And I mean, like, he had me on the phone with people, I want to say, like, maybe like 10 minutes later. Like, the people I wanted to connect with and other people. So, I mean, that's a real brother. I just want you guys to know that's a real stand-up.
I love LL. Let me tell you, my daughter was 16. I hit him up. I said, yo, L, would you mind to do a video for my daughter? He sent this shit over the next day. And, he anytime I needed him, he's always there. So, yeah, that's a great dude, LL, man. Just a real good dude. And it's good to see that between y'all, too. You know what I mean? Like, just brothers, just knowing this hip hop is like peers and colleagues and friends and brotherhood. You know what I mean? But when you spoke about having good, when you say your breath control, or just having, like, what do you credit that to? For people who do ask that, like, what do you, like, is there something that you did to help with that, or it's just regular Kane, like, just, I
mean, damn if I know, man. I mean, maybe because I don't smoke, might be because I don't smoke. I don't know. Because, I mean, I have asthma. So the hell if I know. I mean, I would think that I'd be breathing crazy. I mean, like struggling to breathe. I mean, because I mean, I have asthma. But, I don't know.
Now,
I guess just knowing how to breathe, knowing how to breathe. I mean, I've practiced certain different things that people have told me. Like there's stuff that, like there was this thing that, I saw James Ingram, teaching the guy that used to sing on the road with me. And this other stuff that I've seen people talk about, that I try, on my back and so I mean, there's different things that I try, but, I don't know.
Now, what about tea as an artist with a voice and a powerful voice? Like, do you ever drink like tea or something like that? Do you take care? Because you know how like these stenographers in the thing, like they'll insure their hands, like in a courtroom. Like, do you take care of the throat? Like, Ayo, pause if I need to. But do you take care of the throat? It's a crazy question.
I do. Like I try like not to be in no super cold environment, before I go on stage. Try to make sure that I've been drinking water and I'm a red wine drinker, but I don't touch nothing before I do a show. I turn up after I come on stage. I don't touch nothing before I do a show.
Yeah, we got to be straight. You got to be straight as an arrow. Now, can we see a wine from Kane? Can we? Because I know you fuck with the wine. I fuck with wine. I love Malbec. I mess with Malbec all day. Just smooth, just clean. I'm gonna tell you why I really like wine. Growing up, especially as a Brooklyn kid, a lot of my friends, if they would get drunk or sloppy, people were like messing with them back in the day. Like, I mean, as a kid, meaning like I remember this one dude, they shaved his eyebrows off. This dude's sloppy and drunk and whatever. So I started very early on drinking wine because it kept my head on a swivel. It made me nice, but not stupid. You know what I mean? Like I didn't, I was aware of everything that was going on. So I love wine, man. And plus wine pairs great with food. You know what I mean? Like you get nice fish, a nice seafood, a good wine goes with a beautiful.
No, absolutely.
We MC Search, and shouts to MC Search, reaches out to me, tells me that there's a scripted podcast out there called, did you hear that one about Big Daddy Kane? Now, that'll change every season, but the inaugural season is on the one and only, the King Asiatic, Big Daddy Kane. You know, what made you want to do it? Like, what made you, because I heard it. It sounds beautiful. The sounds, the birds, the subway, whatever, the radio, I love the inserts. What made you want to do it? You know?
Well, first of all, Search has an amazing way of pitching something to you. Yeah. He's that car salesman in the loud suit. He has an amazing pitch there. But I've been thinking about doing a book and couldn't really figure out the correct way, and people that have offered to write it for me, I didn't think that they were the right person telling it right. And then just hearing what Search was talking about, I'm like, well, this is me telling it.
Sure.
And I don't think nobody can tell it better than me, So yeah, this would be perfect. Yeah, let's do it.
I think the world is gonna really enjoy it. Do you have a date it's dropping? Do you have a date?
I'm not sure the exact date.
It should be dropping soon, but internets, listen, I'm going to let you know. Kane is going to let you know, okay? So depending on when this episode drops, okay, either check Kane's Instagram, my Instagram, or just listen. You'll know about it because it's going to get pushed out there. More importantly, social media, Kane. You like it? You like Instagram? You mess with it? Because you adapted well. You adapted well to it, Kane, though.
Yeah, I'm on it, but it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's great that you can meet so many people and connect with so many people and have because it's like, you come off stage, it's not like you going in the crowd holding a conversation with everyone, So, the fact that you can actually respond to people's comments and stuff and, talk with them, I think it's a beautiful thing, to build a relationship, with your followers, and I think that's great, I just think that, I think that, with social media right now, because of the fact that it gives everyone a voice, majority of the people listen not to learn, but to debate. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. They're just waiting to respond. They're not even listening to what the hell you're saying. You're right. That's a gem right there. When you just came out, I remember hearing you talk about that you wanted to be like a combination of Malcolm X and Marvin Gaye.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember saying that?
Yeah, I've always said that.
Why were they your inspirations? What made them be your inspirations at the time?
I think that Malcolm X. I look at Malcolm X as an amazing leader, as a prophet, and I look at him as someone that had a vision, and wanted to uplift his people. I see him as someone that wanted to really uplift his people, and he had a vision, and wasn't scared to get down, in the hood to build with his people, And then with Marvin Gaye, I feel like he was this soul singer, man, that just knew how to. Just this amazing voice that knew how to appeal to everyone on so many different levels, man. Whether it's a sensual level, whether it's a political level, whether it's a fun level, but he just knew how to appeal to you, through his music.
You're right. What's going on? Let's get it on. Just those two. Just look at how. You're right. You're right. Wow. Man, rest in peace to both of those good brothers, man. Yeah, both of those good brothers. Kane, as we wind this down, I didn't say this to you before, but we were speaking about Kane. You hear me, Kane? Jay-Z shouting you out in his music. But a lot of younger artists, and I ran through a couple, when I'm in the studios or taping or whatever, a lot of people know you as being the person who give Kane his. I mean, I keep on saying, Kane, what am I drinking in the afternoon? Give Jay-Z his first cosign. You know, do you remember that time? Do you remember that? You know, and why did you do that? Like, you know, at that time, and I can see, I know who you are as a person. I can see why you did it, but what made you do it? You know,
I thought that Jay was dope. You know, I went over to Fresh Gordon house to record a mixtape with Jaz-o. And Jazz asked me, could his man rhyme on the tape? And I was like, yeah, sure. And, you know, we start spitting, we doing our thing. And I'm listening to both of them. Then after we left, one of the cats from the Shirt King, Nike from the Shirt Kings, he was like, yo, the real reason we wanted you to do this joint with Jaz-o is because we want to shop him a new deal. So you mind working with him, you know? And I was like, you know, on the real, I kind of like the light-skinned motherfucker better, you know? I'm like, can I work with him? You know? And, you know, that's how me and Jay ended up connecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, man. That you think about his career, man, and where he's gone with it, man. It's crazy. Another Brooklyn dude, man. Another Brooklyn dude.
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
Wait, what did you say?
No,
Yeah, my bad. No, I said Brooklyn breeds just different people. I'm just being, I mean, I'm not trying to be, there's a lot of talent all over the world, but Brooklyn breeds different people, you know?
I totally agree.
What were you going to say? You going to say something?
No, I was just going to say that, like, you know, thinking back how, like, you know, when I used to have Jay on the road with me, how quiet he was, to see, you know, what he's become and how he did it, man. I'm like just so proud of that dude, you know, really truly proud of him, you know. Like,
yeah, it's been a blessing to see. Another good brother, Eric B. I remember you saying Eric B was a dude that had, like, one of the few dudes that had keys to your motherfucking house. Yo, Kane. Back in the day, keys to your house, that's a big thing, no?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I had just bought the house, but I had to go to LA to film something. So I couldn't be there. Like, I was gone for like weeks, you know. So, you know, Eric was, but like I had bought the furniture like from an interior decorator. So I had picked out all the pieces and everything, but I wasn't there. So Eric was there letting dude in, telling him, yeah, put that wall unit there, put the couch over there. Yeah, take that bedroom set upstairs. First bedroom to the left, you know, like he was there giving them instructions, telling them what to do, you know. But I mean, Eric is my dude, man. Like I'm laughing because I just talked to Eric yesterday and he had me like damn near in tears from laughing, man. Like that's my dude, man. Like, you talk about someone being the same person from when you first met them, that's Eric B. Eric B today is the same Eric B from back in '86, man. You know?
Man, you got to give love to somebody who never switches it and who never changes up their style against you, you know?
He had me yesterday.
Oh, man. It's always good to get a laugh, man, right? It's always good to get a laugh with old friends. That's the beauty of life. You know, that's the beauty of life, Kane. You know, before we go, I do want to mention Symphony, one of my favorite songs. You know, it's so funny when you think about, you know, Ralph McDaniels. Like, funny thing is, when we were doing podcasting early on, you know, like meaning Combat Jack Show, I remember Ralph came up and was telling that story about how that you couldn't make the video shoot and all that happened. You know, that song is incredible. You know, how long did it take you to write those lyrics? Because one of my favorite lyrics is, put a quarter, you know, what do you say? Put a quarter in your ass because you played yourself. Bring me back to the lyric before that.
Battling me is hazardous to health.
Put a quarter in your ass because you played yourself.
Yeah.
How does that come, like, yo, Kane? Did you just put your pen to the paper and it came out, or you were thinking in your mind, you wrote it down? How does that even, because...
I mean, you know, like stuff like that are like lines that I think about, you know. Those be like one-liners that I have in my head, really, just to say to people in you know, regular conversation. You know, like, you know, you hanging out at the pool hall or at the barber shop, you hear all the slick stuff that the older cats be saying. You start picking up on that stuff, and you start, trying to create your own little slick little slang, So, like stuff like that, it's like a basic, it's just basic conversation. You're sitting there like, you're like, oh man, come on, man, you ain't saying nothing slick to a can of oil, stuff like that. This stuff you say in regular conversation. So, you writing a new rhyme, you throw some of that up in there.
Now, because of everything that happened, obviously I think it's public knowledge or something, but what happened? You got like on the bus going up there, something happened. So you couldn't make the video shoot in Symphony, right? Where the hell did you tape that?
My part, I think we was in like some studio in Manhattan where I filmed my part.
As you grow older as an artist, how many songs do you still have in the can? And the reason why I say that for is, do you, as entrepreneurs, as freelancers, we don't have a 401k. We don't have a pension, right? We can make our own, right? But for an artist, it's always a lot of songs, right? So people can have something when you're not here, right? Do you just bank songs or bank catalog or have things that you could leave, God forbid, if anything ever happened to you?
I have a few.
Yeah. You ever look at it like a will? You know what I'm talking about? Like, you ever look at it like that?
Nah, I never looked at it that way. Nah, but I guess you can,
Yeah. But I don't want to. I'm just saying because we don't talk about that shit enough in the sense of just preparing. Like I remember,
I understand, bro.
Yeah, I remember Just Blaze. I told Just Blaze, like, he's like, yo, you got to fill out a will. I'm like, yeah, if I fill out a will, it's kind of like I'm being prepared to die. He's like, yeah, well, that's going to happen. And I was like, all right, whatever. I guess you're right. But listen, Kane.
I'll tell you what, anybody that don't think they're going to die, keep living. See what happens.
This is the last one, Kane. First of all, I want everyone, okay? When this comes out, you heard that one about Big Daddy Kane, okay? It's a story about Big Daddy Kane. It's his life story. It's his journey. It has people from all walks of life, all people in his life. I mean, it's incredible. I told you before, I listened to it. I want you to go check it out. I want you to download it, okay? But more importantly, I want you to tell a friend about it. Shouts to MC Search again about it. Listen, King, when you think about Ain't No Half Stepping, how the fuck did you come up with that? Is it just a word you said, and then you said you're gonna make it into a track?
Oh well, nah. That's from the Heat Wave song, "Ain't No Half Stepping," from Hot to Handle album. It was like, that was like popular slang in the late 80s.
Sure.
Everybody was saying, "Well, stop half stepping, man."
Yep.
That was just regular slang. So when I heard the Heat Wave joint and that they had the Ain't No Half Stepping as a song, I just brought it over to Marley and asked him to sample that up, like, you loop this up. Because Biz gave me the actual beat. I'm rhyming. Biz gave me that beat.
Really?
Yeah. If I'm correct, it was the day that Biz found the music, the record for Just a Friend.
Okay.
He didn't use it, I think, the following year, but I think he had just found it then because he had been looking for this for like, I want to say a good 2 years, and he had finally found that You Got What I Need,
which was a smash hit.
Yeah, so he called Cool V crib, all excited about finding it.
Shout to Cutmaster.
Yes, sir. And like me and Cool V had just been looking through some 45s that Biz had already bought. And we found the Blind Alley record, and Cool V looped it up in, remember the mixer that used to have the sample? Yeah. He looped it up in there, and I'm just spitting to it. And I'm like, yo, Biz need to give me this. And that's when Biz called, talking about, yo, I found it. So I'm like, let me holler at him. So I'm like, so Biz, man, since you're all excited about that, you probably don't even need this Blind Alley record from the Emotions no more, right? You can have that shit. I'm my man. Like, that's all I need to hear, Yeah.
And then Ain't No Half Stepping was born,
Yeah.
Kane, do you have a favorite song of yours?
set it off.
There you go. There you go. I knew you had one, just like Jay has one. Allure. I love Allure, man. Allure.
Yeah.
He said,
Set it off with my energy. That's why I always do it first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you break. That's how you break in. Listen, Kane. It's been an honor and a pleasure to sit down with you and go over the journey. You know, lastly, I will say, I'm sure you're tired of hearing this shit, but you know, when you think about your days and when I think of like Kane and being an icon, you think about this photo shoot and you look back to those days. When I remember seeing the photo, I'm like, yo, this shit looks so beautiful. You know, not meaning what was going on, meaning you being involved in that, the way it looked, like, you know what I mean? Like, did you know you were about to be in this book with Madonna?
Yeah, I mean, she asked me to be in it. You know?
No, I know that sounds normal, but I didn't know if, you knew that was going to happen beforehand, you know?
Oh, nah. It was like some spur of the moment thing. Like we were on a promotional tour for Warner Brothers. And at the end of the day, she mentioned it to me. Like I came to thank her for acknowledging me in the hospital where like some of the kids, it was like, little white kids, didn't know who I was, So, she acknowledged, I came to thank her for doing that. And then she told me about the book. She was like, I'm doing a book. I'd love to have you in it. And I would be honored. And,
but did you know what type of book it was?
All right, listen, I'm going to tell you. She said, I'd like to have you in the book. I said, I'd be honored. And then she said, well, it's going to pretty much be nude photos. And I said, well, shit, even better. And we just laughed and, made it happen.
Okay, the way you said even better is so classic. I could go on with you for days, man. You got to go cook some food or hang out with the family. I look forward to coming down there and doing something, and doing something we do. But listen, Kane, I appreciate you. I'm so glad to see you out here doing your thing in the next chapter in life. You know what I mean? It's special, man. It's special to see, especially to hear that you're still talking to different artists and laughing like Eric B and enjoying life. That means a lot, to be able to get out and do that, especially during these times that we're living in, So, internets, I don't got to say no more. The one and only Brooklyn's own Big Daddy Kane. Make sure you go check out, okay? Wait, don't go anywhere yet, Kane. Make sure you check out that scripted podcast. Did you hear that one about Big Daddy Kane?